presentation as well. Next slide. Before we begin, we'd like to start with a land acknowledgement. I'm from the Merced campus. I'll be providing the Merced land acknowledgement. And I'm going to actually go off camera because my internet says it's unstable, so hold on. I want to make sure that all of you are able to hear me throughout the presentation. So we pause to acknowledge all local Indigenous people, including the Yokuts and Miwok, who inhabited this land. We embrace their continued connection to this region and thank them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and collaborate on their traditional homeland. Let us now take a moment of silence to pay respect to their elders and to all Yokuts and Miwok people, past and present. If you would like to learn more about who the original inhabitants are of the land you are on, we encourage you to visit this link provided here. Next slide, please. So to kick us off, I'm going to start with the program overview. So we'll cover why you should consider UC. Again, this Discover Your UC webinar is part of a greater series. And so we want to make sure that everyone in attendance learns a little bit about the entire UC system, especially the 3 campuses we are spotlighting today. And then we're going to cover UC Transfer 101 to make sure that you are aware of all the transfer requirements that are required for transfer junior level students. And then covering transfer student support services available to students at the UC campuses. And then, of course, we're going to invite my colleagues from the 3 campuses we're spotlighting today to share more about their campuses, followed by a live Q&A. Next slide, please. So why should you choose UC? Well, at all 9 undergraduate campuses, we have over 700 majors for you to choose from. That means everything from the different arts and humanities, sciences, behavioral sciences, and much more is available to students. And so there's definitely probably a major for everyone who is interested in considering UC. We all conduct research. Students have the opportunity to work with world-renowned faculty at all of our campuses to discover new ideas and to participate in different kinds of research, again, whether if it's in the humanities, the social sciences, biological sciences, and much more. We all provide public service. One example of that is today's webinar. Again, it's brought to you by the UC Transfer Prep programs, and that is one way in which we provide public service. We also have a variety of other programs across the UC system that is public and free and available for the community, including our libraries. Next slide, please. We have 9 different undergraduate campus and 1 graduate campus, UC San Francisco. Students can attend campuses as far north as the UC Davis campus and as far south as the San Diego campus. And then, of course, in the heart of California is my campus, the Merced campus. And so whatever kind of scenery you're interested in, from the beaches to the mountains or the desert, we are all located in really ideal places for students to really explore the state of California. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentation over to my colleague Timothy from the San Diego campus to cover UC Transfer 101.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much, Kia. As Kia mentioned, my name is Timothy Borge. I work as Assistant Director for Transfer Student Services in the Office of Admissions at UC San Diego, and welcome to Discover Your UC. Next slide. So the question is, who is a transfer student? A transfer student is a student who is enrolled in a fall, winter, or spring term at a college or university after high school graduation. Technically, that is the definition of a transfer student. Many times, students will graduate from high school and they will attend a community college or take courses at a community college or maybe even a UC during the summer session immediately following their high school graduation. In those instances, those students are not considered a transfer student, but rather they're still considered eligible for first-year freshmen. So transfer students run the gamut. They have lots of different experiences. Some start at a community college right after high school, but as we know, many of them have varied life experiences. Perhaps they were in industry, career, family, work responsibilities, military responsibilities, or otherwise. And we'll talk about that throughout this webinar. Next slide. So reasons why students choose to transfer. So the transfer pathway is what I call an extremely viable pathway. It's a great pathway. In fact, I was a transfer student many moons ago. But the reasons that students should consider the transfer pathway are myriad, and here are some of them. Affordability of community college tuition. The student might not be ready or would like to stay close to home. The student might not be satisfied with campuses that they originally applied to. Maybe things have changed a little bit. Student may want to explore different career academic goals, and additional academic preparation is also another reason. Let me expand on these just slightly. So tuition, we know, can be expensive for private universities. The University of California is an affordable university. The California Community College system, interestingly enough, is the most affordable public education system in the country. And so students choosing to attend a California community college really get the best bang for their buck. And then transferring to a UC, they continue that pattern by actually matriculating at a four-year university, a world-class four-year university that's very affordable, and there are many financial aid options available to students. Sometimes students have discovered when they graduate from high school, or maybe they were out in the work world, or maybe they were in the military, whatever the case might be, that they need to stay close to home. Maybe they're caring for an older family member, or maybe for a child, or maybe they're just not ready to go to a university yet for whatever reason. And there are no right or wrong reasons. Every student has their own journey, and every journey is acceptable. Student might have changed their mind after they originally applied to universities, perhaps right out of high school, or maybe even as a transfer student, and they've reconsidered their options. So they want to go back to a community college, or maybe they were at a four-year university and now they're going to a community college, and we would call that a reverse transfer because they're actually going from a four-year to a community college and then transferring to a UC. That's not uncommon at all. Community college is a great way. It's a great place for students to explore their academic and career goals. What courses are they really interested in? What courses are they strong in? What courses maybe do they need to improve on in terms of their skill set? This also affords students an opportunity to really think, well, what am I going to do when I graduate? What do I want to do 5 or 10 years from now? What do I want to do 20 years from now? How do I want to impact my environment? And then finally, additional academic preparation. The University of California is one of the top public universities in the country, and we want to make sure that our students are well prepared, and our students identify that when they're at the community college. So attending a community college to complete those additional major preparation courses or otherwise is an excellent, excellent option. Next slide. Advantages of transferring. So UC does give priority consideration for transfer students who apply from a California community college versus transfer students who apply from other four-year universities. Make no mistake, however, we definitely admit students who attend other four-year universities, be it a California State University, maybe a private university within the state of California, or a university outside of California. But California community college students make up the priority and the vast majority of admitted students to our UC campuses. Our community college students who attend California Community College are very well prepared. Another advantage is opportunity to complete the UC general education and lower division requirements at community college. Many of our community college students in California are on the IGETC track. IGETC is a curriculum, intersegmental general education transfer curriculum, or as you know, IGETC for short, is a pattern that many of our California community college students will complete, and that will prepare them for completing, if not all, most or many of the GE courses that are required for a UC education. And of course, lower division requirements, what we call major preparation, which we'll be talking a little bit more about in a few slides. The financial benefits. So I talked a little bit about the financial benefits of attending a community college, and knowing that the California community colleges have formerly the BOG waiver, which is now the Promise Grant, and many other types of grant programs and opportunities, attending a community college is definitely very affordable. And that would also allow students to save up some of their money or save up some resources when they transfer. But again, students can apply for the FAFSA, submit the FAFSA or California Dream application when they are at the community college ready to transfer, and the University of California offers a very robust package depending on what the student is eligible to receive. And again, flexibility to explore other avenues. This is also a great opportunity for students to do so at a community college because a community college is a bit more affordable. This would allow a student to really explore some of those areas that they might not have explored otherwise, to really figure out what they're strong in and what they like. And again, access to transfer admission partnerships and resources. This program is a great example of that. The Discover Your UC program is put on in partnership with the University of California Office of the President and it is a transfer preparation program. This is just one of many of the programs that we offer as a UC system-wide initiative. Next slide. How to prepare for UC? This is a great question. And I know many of you have been asking that question the last 2 days because I see many of your names again in the chat and in the Q&A, and we're really grateful that you're with us again today. We want you to research your major and your campus. Every UC campus is, in my opinion, and in many people's opinions, wonderful, but they're different. Each campus has a different personality. And not only their location is different, as Kia pointed out on the map slide earlier in this presentation, but each campus has their own campus vibe. So research the campus, research to make sure that your major or a major that you could be interested in is offered at that campus. When available, try and visit the campus. Now, I know many of us are sort of moving out of the last 2.5 years and offering campus tours and offering programs that will be in person for the fall and even moving into all of academic year 2022-23. If it is available, try and visit the campus, a campus that's near you, or maybe go on a road trip. Perhaps your class, one of your classes or your community college is going on a road trip. Check in with your transfer center to find out if those opportunities are available. We also want you to plan ahead. What does that mean? That means scheduling an appointment with a counselor at the community college if you are attending a community college to make sure you are on track. You can also connect with the admissions officers at each of the UC campuses. We're available to provide you with guidance and direction and hopefully motivation to let you know that you are welcome and that you belong at a UC campus. Utilize those resources at community colleges, and you're going to hear from a couple of our key partners today, the MESA program, the Puente program, and the Emoja program. These are just a couple of examples of amazing programs and resources that supply students with the tools that they need to be successful if they decide to go and transfer to a University of California campus. Finally, we definitely want you to meet regularly with UC admissions reps. We have many UC reps behind the scenes today during this webinar who can answer your questions. We will be answering questions also at the very end during the live Q&A section. But also make sure that you're aware, is the UC campus that you're interested in, or are the UC campuses that you're interested in offering virtual advising? Are they available by telephone, email? Can you actually walk into the campus? Is there a center where you can go in and request to meet with an admissions officer? All of our UC campuses are accessible and available to students. A great strategy for transfer students, if you haven't already, is to create a UC transfer admission planner. Click on the link on this slide and go ahead, if you haven't already, to create that UC TAP. Not only will this UC TAP tool help you to track your academic progress, making sure that you're satisfying minimum requirements for admission, including major preparation, but you will also receive timely email communication from each of the UC campuses to which you've indicated an interest. Many of you were invited to this program because you, in fact, have a UC TAP account. So we appreciate you doing that. And we would encourage you to update that account every semester, or if you're on a quarter system. You can learn more by clicking on the link on the University of California website. There are a lot of great resources on the UC Office of the President website, in addition to each of the UC campus websites. Next slide, please. Let's talk a little bit about the actual requirements for junior level transfer. Students applying as junior level transfer students must meet the following requirements to be considered for admission to a UC campus. The first requirement, the UC transferable or 90 quarter units by the end of spring term prior to fall admission. So we know that many of you are going to apply this fall for fall 2023 admission. So in this example, you will have to have 60 UC transferable semester units completed by the end of the spring term of spring 2023 in order to be eligible for admission as a junior level transfer student for fall 2023. What's a little confusing is that students submit their application in the fall of 2022, but you actually have until the end of spring 2023 to satisfy those minimum requirement, the minimum unit requirement, which is 60 semester or 90 quarter. Interestingly enough, most of the UC campuses are actually on the quarter system. Our sister campuses at Merced and Berkeley are on a semester system, and most of the California community colleges are actually on a semester system. So 60 semester units is equivalent to 90 quarter units and vice versa. In order to be eligible, students also have to meet a minimum GPA standard. In UC transferable courses, the minimum standard is a 2.4. We call that minimum eligibility GPA for transfer. Some UC campuses might be admitting at a higher level, and we call that a difference in the selection process, but the minimum requirement is a 2.4. Check with the UC campuses to which you're interested in to find out whether a 2.4 would be a competitive GPA. The third requirement is what we call the 7-course pattern. You may know of it as the general breadth requirements. 2 English composition courses, 1 math and quantitative reasoning course, 4 additional courses from at least 2 subject areas. And those areas include arts and humanities, behavioral and social sciences, and physical and biological sciences. A little bit earlier, I talked about the IGETC curriculum. If you are doing IGETC and you are on track to complete IGETC before the spring term prior to fall admission, you will automatically satisfy that pattern. It's embedded within the IGETC curriculum, but double check with the admissions office at the UC campuses to which you are interested in. And finally, complete the required and recommended courses you need for your intended major. We call that major preparation. And the next slide, please. Major preparation. So we're going to spend this whole slide talking just about major preparation. We want our students to be well prepared. And there are various reasons for that, for us having that as a reason. We want students to get to the UC not only to be well prepared for their academic program, but also time to degree. We're cognizant and aware that we want our students to move through the program at a pace that is not only comfortable, but it's also timely for them so that they can move on to whatever might happen when they graduate from a UC campus. So your major may require you to complete some courses known as major preparation. Some majors at some campuses do, some campuses and some majors might not. There may be a recommended, there may be required, so double check. Be really clear with the campus and the major for which you're interested in. At UC San Diego, for instance, and we'll talk a little bit about this, there are several majors that students must complete minimum major preparation. And again, we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the presentation. Major preparation may require a specific GPA or course grade and varies by UC campus and major. The major preparation fulfills what we would call the prerequisites for other courses in your major. It's exactly as it sounds. Major preparation prepares our transfer students to enter into their upper division courses in their major, thus major preparation. The most important resource that delineates what the major preparation courses are at your community college to a UC campus, assist.org. Many of you we know are already familiar with assist.org. If you're not yet, check out their website and check in with one of our admissions officers to find out if you have any questions about what assist.org is and how it functions. Not only can you determine which courses are the required major preparation for your major, but you can also determine which courses are actually UC transferable. We call that the Transfer Course Agreement List, or TCA for short. The bottom line is assist.org is a resource that we really want you to use to empower your educational journey. Next slide. With that, I'm actually going to pass it over to my very dear colleague from the Puente program, Kathy Martinez, who is going to share a little bit of information about Puente.
Thanks, Tim. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today, especially those of you who've been on for the last couple of days as well. Great to see everyone here. My name is Kathy Martinez, and I'm going to share about the program that I work for, which is called the Puente Project, as Tim said. Puente is a community college program that has been around for over 40 years. Some of you may have heard of it since there is a high school version of it, and some of you may have even been participants of it. Puente means bridge in Spanish. The program was originally designed back in 1981 to help Latinx students bridge over to universities by assisting them with the transfer process. Today, Puente is open to all students and is at 75 community colleges in California, and we're actually also in Texas and Washington. But most of the sites are actually here in California. So why should you consider joining? Well, throughout this presentation, you're gaining a lot of knowledge about how to go through the transfer process and how much help is actually out there for you. Programs like Puente take it even one step further, because we not only want to help you with the transfer process, we want to help you grow and thrive as college students and meet other students like yourself who are going through the same things. So there's so much to gain through the community college experience, and Puente just assists with all of that. Also, Puente is free. There's no cost to join the program. You will immediately become part of what's called a learning community, which means that you'll take some of your classes with the same group of students that will support each other. You'll be assigned to the same English instructor for 2 semesters, who will help you to strengthen your writing skills, something that will be useful in most of your other courses. You'll also be assigned a counselor who will stay with you until the time that you transfer. And this is actually a huge deal because most students don't have access to a regular counselor and you have to make appointments. Your appointed counselor is going to be way more accessible to you. Other advantages include being able to visit universities, help with financial aid, scholarships, mentoring, connecting you with research opportunities, career exploration, and even the chance to participate in social, community, and cultural events. And you'll also be able to use your participation in Puente on your UC application. Puente students transfer at higher rates and are very successful once they are at the university level. In order to join, you must sign up before you enroll in your English classes. This is because taking your English courses is part of the program. So, to say you're a Puente student means that you took these English courses as part of it. Many of our college programs fill up quickly since Puente has been around a long time and is pretty popular. However, there may still be openings right now before the fall semester at some of our campuses. So at the bottom of the slide there, you can see my email. And you can contact me directly if you're interested. That way I can let you know if we have the program at the community college that you'll be attending. And if we do, that I will try to connect you with the faculty at that campus who can assist you with signing up. So feel free to contact me by email, and I'll also stay on here for a while if you want to ask me any questions in the Q&A. At this point, I will turn it over to our next presenter who will share about the MESA program. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy, for that. That was great information. So hello, everyone. My name is Brenda Salguero, and I work for the MESA office here at the University of California Office of the President. I'm so happy to talk to all of you about MESA, which stands for Mathematics, Engineering, Science Achievement. And this is our mission. So MESA serves underrepresented students majoring in calculus-based science, technology, engineering, mathematics fields, and who intend to transfer to a 4-year college or university. So we are a 50-year-old program. We exist throughout the state of California in various middle schools, high schools, universities, and community colleges. And you might have been a MESA student in either middle school or high school or currently. So, but whether you are familiar with MESA or not, you are welcome to participate by reaching out to a director that's on campus. And you can find that directory online here. And I am actually going to send it to you, all of you, in the chat right now, because not every campus has a MESA program. So double check. And then also you can reach out to Juanita Torres, who is here also at the UC Office of the President. And I will send you her contact information right now as well. But I wanted to also let you know what MESA does, right? So what does MESA do for you? So for STEM students, we provide academic advising, academic excellence workshops, student study centers, so a center, a place, a location on campus exclusive to MESA students. And the great thing is there's a lot of snacks. We also provide professional development, connections with other student organizations like NSBE, other big organizations, SHIP. And then also 2 other programs in addition to that, which includes the mentorship program, which pairs students with an employee at either Cisco, Western Digital, or PG&E. So it's a 1-to-1 mentorship program. And more companies, we are adding more companies as time goes on. And also the Idea Accelerator, which is a professional, it's basically an online course that teaches MESA students about human-centered design. And we do actually provide a stipend for that. And the top 3 ideas, which you can actually go see on YouTube, and I can share that also in the chat, receive a prize. And this year's prize is about $1,500. So again, if you have any questions, reach out to Juanita, but also you can look online and go to our website to also learn some more information. But yeah. I will also be around, and if you have any questions, I will try to answer them in the Q&A. Thank you so much, and I will now pass it on to Umoja.
Hi, everyone. So unfortunately, my colleague Devon wasn't able to join us from the Umoja program, but I wanted to make sure that we gave Umoja a shout out. Umoja is a partner program with the University of California, and we want to make sure that everyone on the line learns about their program as well and the services that they provide. So Umoja is a Swahili word meaning unity, and it is a community and critical resource dedicated to enhancing cultural and educational experiences of African American and other students. They actively serve and promote student success for all students through their curriculum and pedagogy responsive to the legacy of African and African American diaspora. And so their program actually provides a lot of different resources that I myself have been able to participate in as a UC representative. They host things in the summer like their Summer Leadership Institute, where students have the opportunity to visit a campus, live in the residential hall days, but also be surrounded by community and really develop, a sense of network as well as cultural identity, right? So it's a really wonderful program. I've provided colleague Devon's email in the slide right here. And if you are interested in getting involved with there is a URL here too that you can click on for more information. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my colleague Lisa from the UC Davis campus.
Thanks, Kia. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Overstreet, and I'm a Transfer Opportunity Program Coordinator for UC Davis. I'm going to start off by talking about some resources that we have across the UC system. So these are student support services and resources that are offered at all of our campuses. Next slide. So we offer services for students with disabilities. This includes disability management and counseling, assistance with registration and enrollment, orientation programs. We have on-campus van transportation. We also have equipment loans, interpreters, note takers, special test-taking equipment, and adaptive equipment. So if you are a student who is in need of some of these services, I definitely recommend, contacting the Disability Resource Center at the campus that once you know that that's where you're going to be going to find out what their different types of services that they have for you. We also have services for non-traditional students. So we have social and cultural programs, also workshops and seminars to improve academic and study skills, specific orientations, tutoring programs, services for veterans. So every single UC campus has designated veteran services coordinator. And then depending on campus, we have different types of services that we provide for veterans on each campus. Next slide, please. We all also have current and former foster youth services as well. So this can include student employment opportunities, assistance with financial aid applications, life skills counseling, career planning, priority class registration. Some campuses have scholarships for students who are former foster youth or foster youth. We have services for undocumented students as well. At UC Davis, for instance, we have an AB 540 Undocumented Student Center. It's a physical place where students can, find community, meet, hang out, and find these different resources that we have. So we have academic and personal counseling resources, financial aid and advising services. There's legal advising as well, and then student organizations, and then centers and resources. For transfer students specifically, every UC campus offers transfer student services. We have transfer housing, we have student centers that are specific for transfer students that offer all kinds of transition support programs for you and different types of workshops. We offer peer mentoring for transfer students as well. Next slide, please. So now I'm going to be talking to you specifically about the UC Davis campus. Next slide. So UC Davis academically, technologically, and geographically is literally in the middle of everywhere. Studying on our campus puts you in the heart of 5,300 acres. So we have a very large campus. A lot of that campus space is agricultural land, so don't worry, you're not going to have to traverse 5,300 acres to get from class to class, but it is a really large and beautiful campus. Our central Northern California location means you're really never far from, great destinations for various opportunities. We're really close to the Silicon Valley, lots of opportunities there for internships and career placement. We're only about 20 minutes from our state capital, which is Sacramento. And then, we're near Napa and Sonoma, the wineries, near Tahoe for a variety of, fun activities that you can do out there. So we're really in a great central location. The town of Davis has about 70,000 residents in it. And then UC Davis has about 39,000 students. So we are a true college town. The Davis students actually make up the majority of the population of the city of Davis. And the residents are really supportive of our campus. They're very intertwined. Literally, when you walk off campus, you'll be walking right into downtown Davis. So it's right in the heart of our downtown. Next slide, please. So we do believe that the challenges of the 21st century will not be solved by any one branch of knowledge. And that's why we offer over 100 majors in 4 colleges. So we have the College of Engineering, College of Letters and Science, College of Biological Sciences, and also the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. Following your passion or finding a new one is really easy at UC Davis. A lot of students minor in an area, or sometimes they double major in various areas. And really, there are so many different ways to help you prepare for your desired career. We have over 400 faculty members who were first in their families to go to college. So if you're the first in your family to go to college and you really connect with that, we have a first generation initiative. And this is to help you make connections with these faculty and staff and network and have those shared experiences. Next slide. So while UC Davis is a large campus, the best way to make it feel smaller is by getting involved and finding your community. This slide is just a small representation of the several centers that we have across our campus where you can connect with like-minded students and also learn about other communities. There are 2 centers that are not represented on this slide, but I definitely wanted to mention those. And those are the Health Professions and Advising Center. And then we also have the Student Startup Center for Innovators and Future Entrepreneurs. So the Health Professions Advising Center helps out students who are interested in going into a career in anything in the health field. And then the Student Startup Center is really great for those of you who are thinking about going into business or entrepreneurship. Another service that I wanted to definitely mention to all of you, if you're interested in a career in teaching math or science, we have the Cal Teach Math and Science teaching program as well. Next slide. So whether it's volunteering in the ASUCD pantry or participating in one of our 800+ student organizations or getting involved in Division I or recreational sports, there are so many opportunities for students to balance life inside and outside the classroom at Davis. 50% of undergraduates participate in research, which is a really great way to get hands-on experience, which will help you prepare for your future educational goals and career goals. And the data really leaves no doubt. A college degree means higher earnings for you, and a UC Davis degree brings you even higher earnings than the national average. In fact, the career mid-salary range for UC Davis graduates is $119,900 per year. The hands-on learning, in-depth research, internship opportunities, job experience, and career preparation that you will get at UC Davis are very well recognized by employers throughout the nation. So if you think you already know what UC Davis is all about, or if you're just hearing about us, we really hope that you'll take a closer look and apply to UC Davis. Thank you. Now I'm going to pass it on to Timothy to talk about UC San Diego.
Thank you, Lisa. I always learn so much about the UC campuses during these webinars. I am joined today by a colleague of mine, Mary Jane Chin, who is an admissions officer with me at UC San Diego, and Mary Jane and I are available to continue responding to questions in the Q&A. So I do want to spend a few moments talking about UC San Diego, and this is one of my favorite slides. UC San Diego is the perfect environment to make a big impact. This is just one piece of our Stewart art collection on our campus. Our campus is not only located in America's finest city, San Diego, we are about 10 minutes from the beach, but our campus has a very eclectic art program and art pieces throughout the campus that really support not only local and global artists, but also our students' passion for not only STEM majors, science, technology, engineering, and math, but the arts and humanities and the social behavioral sciences. Next slide. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, we are America's finest city. This is a photo actually of our Scripps Institution of Oceanography Pier. So as I mentioned, UC San Diego is 10-minute drive, a 10-minute walk, a 5-minute drive to the actual Pacific Ocean. And our Scripps Institution of Oceanography lies directly on the ocean. So our campus is very, very large. In fact, it's 1,200 acres. The second largest city in California, San Diego is, and the weather is amazing. I know many of you are California residents attending community colleges throughout California, and California is very nice, but San Diego is very, very nice. And so we're very fortunate. And as I mentioned again, very close to the beach. In fact, many of our students enjoy surfing when they're not busy with classes, internships, or if they plan to study abroad. Next slide. UC San Diego has something for everybody. We have over 140 majors in 8 schools. Those schools include the arts and humanities, the biological sciences, data science, the Jacob School of Engineering, which houses all of our engineering programs, including computer science, aerospace, mechanical engineering, bioengineering, health sciences, including majors in global health, public health, the physical sciences, the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, and some of their majors include marine biology, atmospheric sciences, and the geosciences. And then finally, the social sciences. Interestingly enough, the majority of our students come in some sort of a social behavioral science major, be it psychology, economics, political science. These are some very strong majors at UC San Diego. I do want to spend a moment talking about CAP majors. So UC San Diego, all of our majors are open to transfer students, but some are what we consider capped. And that means that enrollment is limited. So enrollment is selective. In other words, those majors are selective majors. Those majors include all of our biology majors, data science, all of our engineering majors, including the majors I've listed, and nanoengineering and structural engineering, physics and public health. So if a student is interested in any one of these majors, we definitely recommend that you list it as the first choice major on your application. Now keep in mind, transfer students can also list an alternate major on their application, and we highly recommend that students do that, especially if you're interested in UC San Diego, particularly if you're interested in one of these CAP majors. So in other words, select that CAP major as your first choice major, but select another major that you would be interested in if you're admitted to that alternate major. Because there's never a guarantee that if you were admitted to an alternate major, for example, that you could then try to get into your original major later on. It's possible at UC San Diego, but it's not very common. Next slide. UC San Diego's unique college system is one of a kind. We are actually based on the Oxford-Cambridge system, which is a centuries-old system, very famous and very prestigious in terms of smaller communities within the larger community. We call that the college system, and we have 7 colleges, soon to be 8. The colleges offer any major at any college, and I know we've received a couple of questions in the Q&A about if I'm interested in engineering, or if I'm interested in political science, how should I rank the colleges on the application? The answer is you can rank those colleges in any order that you feel appropriate. There is no one right college for any particular major. In fact, every college, every major. In fact, in all of our colleges, we also have academic advising, general education courses, student support, honors programs, residential housing, and student life activities. Now, the residential housing is actually by transfer student. It's not so much by college. We have 3 main sites on campus that house transfer students currently right now. We call that the Village, and those are apartment style housing in our Rita Atkinson Apartments, Pepper Canyon East, and also we have one new line that's coming on, and I'll put a link in the chat so you can check that out. But our housing on campus is very nice for transfer students. You can see the colleges delineated in teal blue. 7th College is our newest college. 6th College, Roosevelt College, Warren, Marshall, Muir, and Revelle. The colleges are named after influential people in history who embody the traditions and the philosophy of each college. 6th College is one of our newer colleges and still named 6th. The students really enjoy that name, and at some point it may be named after somebody in history. And 7th College just came online recently for transfer students, and they too might be named after somebody in history who embodies their philosophy and traditions. Next slide. And with that, I've run out of time. I am going to pass it to my colleague at UC Santa Cruz. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Raimundo Reyes, and I'm very, very excited and happy to be here with all of you today. Thank you so much. Before I start, I'd like to mention a statement of land acknowledgement and the importance not only for UC Santa Cruz, but the UC system in general. And the website was remarked at the beginning of this presentation. I'm also putting the link in our chat section. Again, my name is Raimundo Reyes. More than 10 years ago. With me today, I have Monica Galvan and my supervisor, Junie Snyder. The three of us were students at UC Santa Cruz and have more than 25 years plus experience as students and workers to offer you any sort of advice. So again, thank you for being here. Like I said, I was a transfer student at one point. I went to 5 different community colleges in Southern California. And when I was admitted at UC Santa Cruz, it wasn't my first choice, but I had never stepped foot at the campus. And coming from UC Berkeley, I decided to stop. And I tell you, the minute that I walked into the campus, I met the people. I knew within a minute that Santa Cruz was the fit for me. And still is a beautiful place that I enjoy every day. And I have the privilege and honor to work here. So next slide, please. Great. So what you see right here is our aerial top view location just of the west side of campus. Our university is the second largest university in the UC system. So this is just one side of our campus. As you could see on the campus, as you could see on the top view, you see the beautiful ocean, Monterey Bay, which any day, any moment that you are at UC Santa Cruz, you're gonna be able to enjoy these beautiful, majestic, spectacular ocean views. And so with that, we welcome you to know a little bit more about the history of UC Santa Cruz. I'm putting, our charters are putting a video with the history of UC Santa Cruz. We're located only about an hour and 15 minutes south from San Francisco and 45 minutes from San Jose City. Just to give you a glance of where we are. We're located on top of a hill on a redwood forest. Our students and ourselves call our campus City on a Hill. And it's very exclusive because it's basically just staff and students that we are there. Of course, we're open to the public, as you know, with the libraries and everything, events, to attend and visit UC Santa Cruz. More a little bit about the history of UC Santa Cruz and who we are, what we believe in. One of our main hallmarks philosophy is social and environmental responsibility and justice. That's a philosophy that we endure and we believe and we are committed to. Just as the UC system, we're committed to learning, research, teaching, and most of all, to do impact in the public. So with that, we want you to, if you're interested in UC Santa Cruz, we want you to eventually go not only get a bachelor's degree, of course, but we want you to contribute to society in whatever major you decide to study and feel in the discipline that you want to do. Also, we have tours available for you starting in the month of September. However, I'm going to offer you the opportunity to go onto a virtual tour link, and you can, from the comfort of your home, it takes about 45 minutes. It's a guided tour. And I tell you, I guarantee you that just looking at the virtual tour, you'll be very interested in UC Santa Cruz, and who knows, it may become your top choice of school. Also, I'm providing you with the UCSC admissions website that will give you all the information, our contact information. So please don't hesitate. At the end of my presentation, we're going to have Q&A questions. So you're welcome to ask us any questions about UC Santa Cruz. Next slide, please. What is very, very unique about UC Santa Cruz is the residential colleges. Being the largest, second largest university, our residential colleges is one of the biggest. We offer you 10 different possibilities of community residential colleges where you can not only live there, but you can take your classes there. Every college has its own theme, revolving around justice, technology, science. So according to the college that you choose, those activities and events, lectures are revolving that particular college. And with that, we're providing you with a map of all colleges so that you can, again, from the comfort of your home, start exploring our colleges and what we have to offer you. At the same time, we're providing you with a housing virtual residential tour that you can view, like what we offer you as far as residential quarters is concerned, from doubles, triples, maybe even apartments. Okay, next slide, please. So now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the transfer community. And again, being myself a transfer student that was admitted to UC Santa Cruz in 2012, my experience at the transfer community was unbelievable. It was very transformative. It was, I still go back to those lessons that I learned to be successful, to be able to just, even get this job, everything that the Kresge community with the Kresge Class 25 transition to campus and understanding research universities. It was so good for me coming from a community college to be able to learn more about how to be able to perform research, how to be able to immerse myself into doing internships, applying for scholarships, being part of this all these groups. The transfer community has a very particular unique place called STARS. The STARS stands for the Transfer and Reentry Center. And this is a place where you're welcome to come. There's a study lounge there. There's computers that you can use for free. There's free printing. There's counseling. And so that's our transfer center. Our transfer students are some of our best students because, as you already know, you've been in a community college, maybe 2-3 years or more, and you already have what it takes to be successful. One thing that I want to mention is that being a transfer, a student, and just being a student in general at UC Santa Cruz, you're gonna be part of a community that is very inclusive, very loving, very supportive. We want you not only to participate in your educational college experience, but we want you to be able to communicate with us about any particular needs that you may have. It may come in the forms of financial aid. It may come in the form of emotional support. It may come in the form of maybe you need a computer, maybe you need a animal emotional dog, to support you for whatever reasons. So the transfer committee stands by the UCSC principles of community, as well as all the university. Those principles of community are pretty much about human respect, embracing diversity, be open, be just, be disciplined, celebrate our differences as human beings, being able to realize that we are all part of one huge human family, and that you're going to be welcome here from whatever background you belong to, whatever ethnic language you speak, whatever sexual orientation you have, whatever your beliefs, your religion background is, you're going to be valued as a human being, and we're going to give you that dignity that you deserve. All right, next slide, please. Okay, great. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the academic programs and research. We offer you more than 60 plus different majors, 40 different minors, with the 5 distinctive academic divisions: the arts, humanities, physical and biological sciences, as well as social, and the Jack Baskin School of Engineering. 75% of our UC Santa Cruz undergraduate students participate in research projects before graduation. The research opportunities that you're going to have in the UC system in general are quite amazing opportunities that sometimes these internships of research opportunities are going to come in the form of paid internships. So you could be making money while participating in these research opportunities. At the same time, you're going to be able to create those professional network relationships with your professors as mentors to maybe provide you with advice for potential graduate school applications, school scholarships, research opportunities, or even jobs. So that's something that is very important for us, that being a transfer student, we want you to, once you become admitted, we want you to start getting ready about thinking about, what are you going to do after you get your bachelor's degree. So remember that a bachelor's degree, just by itself, no matter what major you decide to study, a bachelor's degree is going to give you the opportunities of a better quality of life than not having a bachelor's degree, simply because it's going to be able to open the opportunities to jobs where you can make a lot more money than you may be making right now. So that's available for you. I want to say more than 70% of our students do double majors. What is beautiful about UC Santa Cruz is that we have an interdisciplinary academic offerings for you in the distinctive majors, where you can perhaps, like myself, study Italian literature and Spanish studies and a minor in history. That's what my studies were. And like I said, many of our students are doing perhaps like computer science and theater major or double major or even a minor. So all those opportunities are open for you. We're putting a list of the majors, as well as sometimes being a community college student, you have no idea what you want to do. But you know that you want to achieve a bachelor's degree. So we're offering you some videos to give you a little bit of introduction for the majors that we are offering you to choose from. At UC Santa Cruz, we have screening majors and non-screening majors. Those screening majors, we want you to prepare, take the classes that are required, assist the org. That website is a fantastic tool that is available for you if you're interested in a screening major. But if you're not interested in a screening major, it's a lot easier to become admitted in any other university and have the opportunity to get and obtain a bachelor's degree. We have amazing non-screen majors that you could be admitted at UC Santa Cruz just with the regular UC pattern, the minimum general requirements for the UC system. And so you're welcome to explore all different majors if you go again to our website. I want to mention a little bit about the opportunity of research that was done in 2000 with Dr. David Hausler, working with a team of students and people. They were able in 2000 to be part of the Human Genome Project. And 22 years later, we still have the Biomolecular Genomics Institute that possesses the cancer's database for research in the country. And that's a big deal. And he was able to ask a very incredible, profound question. Based on DNA, what makes us humans? And so that's a very profound question that with science, they were able to, and still enable sequence of genomes where like now they can potentially be in the brink of discovering new treatments for cancer. So that's just an example that I want to mention to you. The spirit of UC Santa Cruz, our students are very passionate, and I want to offer you the opportunity to watch this video that we put in the chat section, so you can learn a little bit more about the spirit of UC Santa Cruz, as well as information of the Human Genome Project. What I want to mention next is the scholarships, financial aid, and again, the internships that are available for you. And we're putting a link as well. If you're a student that has at least 3.0 or above GPA, I tell you this, please start thinking about applying for scholarships and internships, starting at your community college, because you have no idea, once you become good at knowing how to apply for scholarships and how easy it is, you could be making money for just being a student, a good student. And that's a big payback that you can harvest the rewards as a student. Next, I want to mention and invite you to watch some of our past events on our YouTube channel. We have tons of lectures, tons of events, guest speakers. One example I can give you, Michelle Obama was a guest speaker, and we had a virtual event in 2000 November, I believe a year and a half ago. Michelle Obama was amazing, and she spoke to us. Some of our faculty, renowned faculty, have gone into the many different disciplines in the astronomy. Angela Davis, as you know, she's a legendary civil rights figure, as many others. So we're putting the link for those events. And last but not least, let me mention this guy in the middle, Sammy the Slug. We're very proud to be the Sammy Banana Slugs community. UC Santa Cruz adopted this unique mascot in the 80s. And we invite you to know a little bit more about the history. It's a beautiful, remarkable history that our chosen mascot was decided by our own students. And with that, I thank you for your time, and we'll be here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Raimundo. I'm going to stay off camera. I'm getting the infamous Zoom warning that says my internet may be unstable. So if at any point in time I cut out, I'm going to ask one of my colleagues to join, and so they'll moderate the Q&A. But anyhow, at this time, I'm going to ask for all the presenters to come camera on, and I will ask you a few questions that came through the live Q&A, which there were plenty of questions. And then before I hop into that, I just want to reiterate really quickly, because there are lots and lots of questions from students about specific GPA, specific course requirements, specific majors at each one of our campuses. And so I really do want to encourage students, like, thank thank you for asking your questions. We're going to do our best to answer all of those, but in case we don't get to them, definitely visit each of our admissions websites so you can see if we have your major and you can see what the requirements are. And then as Timothy mentioned earlier, Assist is a wonderful resource. And so we encourage you to visit Assist so that way you can see what are the articulated equivalent at your campus that you should be taking to meet those requirements. And then definitely reach out to each one of our campus. We'd love to hear from you and support you. So I just want to put that message out there and reiterate that for everyone. So we'll now jump right into the Q&A. A question that came up a few times is, how can I make an appointment with a UC admissions advisor at one of your campuses? So any one of the panelists, feel free to hop on the question. If not, I can pick folks. Totally up to you all.
Well, thank you. I'll put in the chat there. We do have a phone number and there's an email address as well. So for UC San Diego, if you'd like to connect with an admissions officer, by all means, we would really welcome you to do so. And our admissions officers are available to support prospective transfer students. We'll put that in the chat.
Lisa or Raimundo, would you like to share how a student may be able to get an appointment with an advisor?
Yes, sure. At UC Santa Cruz, you're welcome to reach us at ucscadmissions.edu. We have transfer representatives at whatever community college you're attending, or perhaps you even attending an out-of-site campus. We even have international representatives and out-of-state representatives as well. So please don't hesitate, just send us an email. You can find out who exactly is your representative if you go to our website, and we'll be very, very happy to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm putting our contact information in the chat as well. So we have representatives available for students too, and I'll give that information out.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. All right. The next question is actually specifically for Santa Cruz and the and the San Diego campus. Do students rank and select the colleges for your campuses in the UC application?
I'll start with UC Santa Cruz. Once you become admitted and you decide to submit your intent to register at UC Santa Cruz, then you'll have the opportunity to choose your 5 top preferential colleges. And then based on your housing application, that determines a little bit more about what kind of lifestyle you like to engage in. Perhaps you like loud music, you play a music instrument, perhaps you like to watch TV late at night. So based on that, we're going to pair you up with a pair of roommates to a particular location, one of the 5 that you have chosen.
Thank you, Raimundo. At UC San Diego, students should and they must actually rank the colleges in order of preference on their application for admission. When the admission notices go out in the spring, students are admitted to their major and to their college. So we do not at UC San Diego admit students as undeclared. They are admitted to a major and they are admitted to a college at UC San Diego. But remember, any major, any college. So whichever college or whichever major you're interested in, you'll find the right college.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. The next question I have is, due to global pandemic that we're all experiencing, if a student's GPA or academic performance has declined, how will this be viewed in the admissions process? And we'll start with Lisa, since we just heard from Raimundo and Timothy.
Sure. If that's your circumstance, we definitely want you to provide an explanation in your UC application. So there is an area for you to let us know what was going on so that we have some more insight into it and can take it into consideration.
Yeah, at UC Santa Cruz, oh, you want to go first, Timothy? Okay. At UC Santa Cruz, we want to know everything that has affected you in your academic background and history. And sometimes, yeah, as we all are human beings, COVID-19 has affected us in different particular ways. So if that was the case for you perhaps to maybe get a bad grade, or maybe you had to drop a couple courses, whatever it was, if you explain that in your UC Insight Questions application, that will be the opportunity for the UC Santa Cruz evaluator team to know more about that transition of time and the challenge that you experience as a student. And you definitely will be taken in consideration. So please do not hesitate. Also in the UC application itself, towards the end of the insight questions, has a space for extra, if you want to make an extra comment that you want to talk about. It could be anything at all. And if the case is COVID-19 challenging situation that unfortunately our global society still is affected somehow, please let us know.
Kia, just to let you know, for San Diego, what Lisa and Raimondo is exactly the same. We do, as Raimondo mentioned, the additional comment section is probably the best place in the application to mention that for UC San Diego. And you can just be really concise about how the COVID situation affected a course or maybe a semester, and that would be really helpful.
Thank you. Another question I have is regarding the tag. So if a student is applying for the tag, how important is it that they, how much effort should they put into the PIQs in the UC application? So this would probably be only for the Santa Cruz and Davis campus.
I'm happy to answer that. So at Davis, we do a pre-evaluation of your tag. So, we will notify you by mid-November as to whether or not it's approved. As long as you fulfill your end of the bargain on that tag, your admission is guaranteed based on that. However, the PIQ section is still very important. Even though in that case, we wouldn't be using it for admission purposes, it also is used for scholarship purposes. And this is true at every campus. So you still would want to be thoughtful in your PIQ responses and definitely, put a lot of thought and effort into that portion as well, because it is important. And, if you're applying to any other campuses, even if you have your tag approved, you still would want to have that information for both admission and scholarship purposes for anywhere else.
Yeah, it's very similar to what Lisa just mentioned. The tag application, remember, is a different application from the regular application, and that's only once a year in the month of September. So if you're interested in doing a transfer admission guarantee application, you're totally welcome to do that if you fulfill the requirements, GPA, and courses that are needed for that particular major that you're interested. And remember, the UC tag application is just for one university out of the 9 universities. Now, regardless if you decide to do a tag application, you still have to submit a regular application in the month of November. And the UC Insight questions, of course, is part of the application itself. So unfortunately, sometimes we see students that don't even answer the UC Insight questions. And that's a detriment, because when you're being screened to the different universities, you're being screened also for scholarship opportunities that could give you that extra money that you may need as a student if you become admitted at different universities. So if you can prepare those insight questions, tell us whatever you want to share more about yourself and what makes you unique besides the student that you are. Please let us know.
Thank you. Our next question, I'm actually going to throw it over to our colleague Brenda from Mesa. If a student is attending a community college that doesn't have a MESA program, how else can they participate? Or what advice would you have for that student?
So it's kind of hard to participate because there isn't a Mason's program on their campus, and it's hard to participate in like a different Mesa's program on a different campus. They have to be on your campus. But I think right now the community college, I guess, chancellor's office actually has approved Mesa for every community college throughout the state of California. So one thing that the student could do is maybe petition or ask people at the campus or the College of Engineering or whatever major that they're majoring in, to ask them to actually see if they would actually create a Mesa program on their campus. Because those funds have been approved. It just depends on the community college campus itself if they want a Mesa program on their campus. So that's basically the advice that I can give at the moment.
Awesome. Thank you, Brenda, for that insider information too. I'm sure there are lots of students right now who are taking note of it, and they're going to email my college president and ask if we can have that program. Because Mesa is an amazing resource. All right. So our next question is regarding an out-of-state student, and they specifically did ask the Santa Cruz campus, but I will also open it up to the other two campuses if they want to also provide any advice. But as an out-of-state student interested in the Santa Cruz campus, they're interested in studying marine biology. What courses outside of the 7-course pattern and major prep should they also take in order to be competitive? So we'll start with the Santa Cruz campus, and then if San Diego or Davis would like to also chime in with any advice for any out-of-state students.
Thank you, Kia. So if you're an out-of-state student and are interested in studying marine biology, first of all, you have to find out the courses that are needed. We don't have an agreement, unfortunately, in assist.org, but if you list a community college to give you an idea in California, that's good. And also go to our website. That could give you an idea of the courses that are needed for the screening major of marine biology, which is an amazing major that, by the way, that those students are our branch location coastal campus that was just opened 2 years ago, state-of-the-art facility. But you're more than welcome to reach out to the out-of-state representative at UC Santa Cruz Admissions and just send them an email, and we'll be able to work with you individually to see first of all, what university you're attending, and find out what kind of courses will be accessible to fulfill the general requirements for the screening marine biology major. And so that's the best advice that I could give you.
I would just add, for any major, although we do have marine biology at UC San Diego, and it's through our Scripps Institution of Oceanography, which is one of the top, if not the top, aquatic science institute in not only the country, but the world. The best advice is for students that attend non-California community colleges or even colleges within the state of California is to look specifically at the courses that are offered at UC San Diego and try to match the course descriptions. As Raimundo mentioned, UC San Diego does not have any articulation with out-of-state colleges or universities. And so it is incumbent upon the student to do a little bit of research to find out, okay, if UC San Diego is requiring courses X, Y, and Z, check out the course descriptions and then match those with the course descriptions for courses that are offered at your college. So that's probably the best advice. And you can always chat with an admissions officer, although we don't actually provide a pre-evaluation service for non-California community college students. Looking at our catalog, and I'll put in the chat, the catalog website is an invaluable resource. And as I mentioned earlier, we definitely admit students that are not California community college students every year, students that attend other universities in California or other universities across the country and the world.
Thank you so much, Timothy, for that too. And then I just wanted to plug the UC Transfer Admissions Planner will allow you to actually put in courses that are out of state or international or from another four-year school. Again, not all the UC campuses do a pre-evaluation, but it's a great resource to put all your courses in there, especially if you have a mixed record, right? To start seeing at least like what is it that you have that may actually already be transferable, and to really start having that conversation with us, right? Definitely encouraging you to reach out to each one of our campuses individually if you're interested in one of our programs. The next question we have is specifically for Davis, and then I'll open it up for the other two too if they'd like to answer. But does Davis allow for sophomore transfers?
So overall, we give priority to junior level transfers. The only part of our school that offers, that makes available for sophomore level transfers are within our College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, if they are not a selected major. So for those majors, you can apply as a lower division transfer, but just keep in mind, we're still prioritizing junior level transfers first. So it really is best and to your advantage to get to that junior level. That's going to bring you in most prepared, and then you'll have less time to degree.
Awesome, thank you. And then would Raimundo or Timothy like to comment if either of your campuses also allow for a sophomore or lower division transfer?
At UC San Diego, no. We admit junior level. Oh, I'm sorry, Raimundo. I was just saying we admit junior level transfer students through the regular admission process.
At UC Santa Cruz, we emphasize junior level transfer students, but of course there are particular cases where the student may be a good student and maybe they're a little bit short units, but unfortunately that's going to put you at a sophomore level. So you have to spend more time, more money. You know, any university is going to be more expensive than a community college, and a little bit more intense, less time in most cases. So we encourage you to finish the junior level 60 transferable units. Remember, by the time you apply to the UC application, if you have some time somewhere between 35 and 45 units completed that are transferable, you could have the rest in progress and plan. So by the time you get admitted, you'll have all the 60 transferable units completed. So sometimes the students think that they have to have the 60 transferable units completed before they can apply. And so that's not the case. If you have 35 to 45 units completed, the rest of the 60 transferable units could be, again, in progress or following the semester after you have applied at your school. By the way, I'd like to announce that at UC Santa Cruz, we still have winter application period going on right now in the month of July. And so you're welcome to apply to one of our majors. There's almost all majors are open for winter admission, which starts in January 2023. And the application is still open right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Our next question, we actually got this quite a lot in the Q&A, is regarding double majoring. So we know that on the UC application, students can only select one major as their primary major. If students are very much interested in double majoring, what advice would you have for them? And anybody can go first.
I'll go ahead. So as Kia mentioned, you can only apply for one major in the UC application, but double majoring may be a possibility for you. That would be something that would need to be worked out, after you transfer with the academic department. But, if you have that second major in mind, it's really good to be preparing ahead of time for that, because the types of things that, they're going to be looking for is, do you have the proper preparation for this major? Is there space in the major? Are you going to be able to take on a second major and still graduate in a timely manner? So if you come in with that preparation, you have a better chance to take on another major. And then also, be open to the idea of a minor as well. There are so many majors that are also available as minors. And that way, you can still have that level of expertise and that addition onto your degree, but it's not as heavy of a course load as taking on a second major.
I'll go ahead and jump in and thank you, Lisa. For UC San Diego, students, like Lisa and Kia mentioned, they select their first choice major and an alternate major. Once admitted, if a student is admitted, then they would go through the process to declare a double major. So it all happens after the student is admitted and they matriculate or they enroll at UC San Diego. Now, keep in mind that our CAP majors are just as selective, you might say, as a continuing student. You would be considered a continuing student. So for instance, if a student is admitted into theater and dance, but they want to double major in computer science, they would have to follow the procedures to the Department of Computer Science to figure out whether or not there would be a space for them as a double major. And for a CAP major, those opportunities are not as available for students as they would be for non-CAP majors at UC San Diego. And as Lisa mentioned, studying as a minor, picking up a minor is a great strategy. In fact, many of our students do in fact that they select a minor.
At UC Santa Cruz, what Lisa and Tim mentioned, it's pretty much almost the same. The UC application, we encourage you to choose one primary major, and you're welcome to choose an alternative major. Preferably, we want you to choose an alternative major that is a non-screening major. So if for whatever reason you don't fulfill the requirements, the GPA for your primary major, maybe, it's not a guarantee, but sometimes we give the students that are applying to UC Santa Cruz the alternative major preference to be admitted at UC Santa Cruz. So in most cases, once you become admitted, in all cases, once you become admitted, then like I said, more than 70% of our students, they do double majors and minors. If you're a community college student and you've been at a community college taking classes, you probably have a lot of courses that are applicable to interdisciplinary majors. Like myself, I had more than 100 semester units. And so I was able to, with the courses that I had taken, I was able to do a double major and a minor. And I was very close to do a triple major. And the reason why I was able to do that is because, like I said earlier, I was making so much money, more money than I ever made in my entire life, just from being a decent student. And some of the applications that we evaluate, the students that we see are a lot better students than I was. So please, if you are a good student, start making profit out of that. Okay, thank you.
All right, and then this is our last question I'll ask the group, but students are curious to know if they submit their application this fall, when can they expect to hear back from your campus? I'll pick on Timothy first, and then he can pick whoever he wants afterwards.
Thanks, Kia. That's a great question. For UC San Diego, we are only open for fall term admission. Admission notifications will be released by no later than April 30th. And I'll popcorn it to Lisa.
It's the same for us as UC San Diego, but if you do submit a tag application to UC Davis, for UC Davis, we do a pre-evaluation of tag. So you would get your tag notification in mid-November. But as we discussed before, submitting the UC application to that same campus under the same major is also part of the process. And then you would hear your final admissions decision again by the end of April.
Yes, at UC Santa Cruz, just like Tim and Lisa mentioned, we do have the full admission period, and that takes about a year. So if you're applying in the month of November of this year, you'll be notified of your admission sometime in the month of April or March. March or April will be the months that you'll be given a decision. And again, if for whatever reason you don't have the GPA, don't have the requirements that are needed, you can always apply it, into a new period. Like, the students that didn't get admitted for the fall this past year, right now they have the courses and the grades that are needed for applying this winter. So some of the UC universities, we do have what we call sometimes winter spring application periods. As I mentioned before, the winter application for UC Santa Cruz still open, so you will totally welcome to give it a try, and you have nothing to lose. And one thing that is very important for all UC universities is that you have no idea, but you may even qualify to get a fee waiver in the application that lets you apply to 4 universities totally for free. So depending on your financial needs, depending on your background, sometimes you may be given that chance towards the end of the application. So if you were a transfer student like myself, that I was counting the money that I had in the back to apply for 2 or 3 universities. And then I realized that towards the end that I didn't have to pay. And I ended up applying to 4 universities, which were very successful. And I didn't have to pay a dime. So that could be the case for you. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we are coming close to end here. And so I'd like to invite my colleagues back. And before we end, if there's any word of advice or wisdom you'd like to let our over 200 students who attended today know about applying to the UC or preparing, what would that be? And so I will go ahead and start with Timothy again, and then you could popcorn it.
Thanks, Kia. I think in a very brief statement, I would say the most important thing to do at this point, there are 2 things. One is to continue to connect with the UC campuses and participate in programs like this and ask all the great questions that you've been asking. And 2 is definitely, if you haven't yet, create that UC TAP account. And if you do have the UC TAP account, make sure you're updating it each semester. And I'll popcorn it again to Lisa.
Thanks, Timothy. Yeah, I would say definitely, it's never too early to start preparing, looking at your major, and if there are required courses that you need to have for that major and planning ahead, be engaged with your community college counselor, be engaged with us at the campuses that you're interested in applying to. Definitely take on those opportunities because we're here to help, and that's going to make your experience a lot more successful. So I'm going to send it to Raimundo.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. So exactly what Tim and Lisa said, we're out here. We're open to help you. Remember this, the UC system, it's a public educational California system available for you as a California community college students, as well as out-of-state and international students. But we want you to be successful. We want you to reach out to us. A lot of times, except for the past year and a half, we haven't been able to visit your community college in person, but we may be starting to do that in the fall coming up if everything gets better, with COVID-19. So we definitely encourage you to reach out. Do not hesitate to ask us any question about anything. Every UC university has representatives for each of your community college that you may be attending. So again, you can even have a Zoom virtual meeting, for phone call or an email where you can find out more about us, and everything that it takes for you to hopefully become admitted at that given university. And one thing that I want to say, we know that as a community college student, sometimes you are facing challenges, just like us, sometimes, family issues, sometimes you working a part-time, full-time job or more. Sometimes you maybe a single parent, maybe you're a veteran, maybe you're an undocumented student, whatever the case is, we encourage you to not give up on your dreams. Your education, you're almost halfway there if you're attending a community college. After you become admitted at a UC university, 2 years will go by so fast, and you'll be able to have a bachelor's degree. And the quality of life that you'll have then will be so much more of what you deserve. You'll have more money, more better job opportunities. And so we encourage you to not give up on your dreams.
Thank you. I think, Brenda, you get to take us home.
Great. I will just say, please take advantage of the different programs, Puente, Moja, Mesa. Please take advantage of them because you will build lifelong friends, connections, job opportunities, all that stuff. It's really, really important. So definitely take advantage of it because I didn't when I graduated from UCSB and I went to UCSB. So definitely take advantage of it. So, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And so now I'm going to have Sheila bring back up the PowerPoint slide and provide everyone here with our contact information. You know, many of you asked about how can you reach out to us? How do you make an appointment? This is the best way. Reach out to us via our email or our website. So that way we can get back in contact with you. And then also, I just want to thank everyone, all of my panelists and everyone who participated in this week-long program for our Discover Your UC webinar series. Students, you know, or guests on the other side, you know, we encourage you, if you have not already, please create that UC Transfer Admissions Planner. That is how we invite everyone to these programs. So if you already have one, please keep it updated. If you have not created one, go ahead and create one. So that way we can stay in contact with you. So without further ado, I want to just thank everyone so much for joining us. We look forward to